Betty, are you ready? Are you ready?
Why is this
I'm
fake?
it's in my car. I thought.
Where at? What car?
The red one.
Red car? Okay, step over there.
These. What's going on? What's going on? Is he okay?
Send in the medics. What's in
Why is this
I'm
fake?
Where's
it's in my car.
Where at? What car?
The red one.
Red car? Okay, step over there.
Yeah, there's anything on the air.
Take her to jail!
Ma'am, ma'am.
No, I don't care if my mom.
Go over there with your mom.
Take her to jail!
Cold fresh air.
It's the belly for me.
I'm not in a space to problem solve for Black men right now. I want everyone to understand, and I'm speaking to Black women, what you may be feeling right now. If you were also not in a space to problem solve for Black men, it's not a failure of your compassion. It's not proof that something is wrong with you. We have always been living through a pattern of femicide.
I can hear your grief in your breathing. What can I as a Black man do to provide support in this difficult season when Black women need it?
Black women being killed by the men who are supposed to care for and support and love them. And we are watching those deaths in some conversations get buried under conversations about the mental health of men in general or the men who took their lives.
As a Black man, I have been utterly disgusted with many of the responses and discord I've seen. Black women, center you right now. Center your peace, your health, your safety.
It was important for me to say today and to say out loud, because I am a licensed clinical psychologist and I am married to a Black man and I am rearing 2 Black boys unless they tell me otherwise. And it's important for for everyone to understand that I am sitting with grief and rage and a bone deep exhaustion and a fear that I don't always have words for.
You Black women are the backbone of society. You support your kids, your husbands, and the community. You've become the most educated demographic. You are doing a lot. You can't keep the world on your shoulders. Support yourselves first. Black men need to be accountable for themselves, for other Black men and boys, while also supporting the women who have carried the community for so long.
So if you're also a Black woman who is struggling to show up to a conversation about how to support Black men right now, not in general, not for the rest of your life, but just right now, I just think it's important to realize that jumping to action when we are not even getting a chance to process is detrimental.
I'm sorry Black women have to problem solve for us. I know as a man, I've placed women in that role. I apologize.
And I need you to hear me clearly as Black women, because I've seen so many comments and conversation happen. That doesn't make you a monster. That doesn't mean you're a horrible person. That doesn't mean that you're anti-Black. Fear is real and grief is real and rage in all forms, holy and righteous, and all of that is real.
I can't believe people are prioritizing resources for men when it's women being deleted. It's really sick, actually.
When you look at what happened in Minneapolis, both the cause and the response, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, first off, as a father myself, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved in this terrible, terrible action that took place up in Minneapolis. And unfortunately, because of the failure of the leaders that we've trusted to lead and to make policies and to address these issues, once again, that's all we are left with because of the lack of action, as you've heard, the vice president talk about yesterday. I mean, this is nothing more than, a symptom of the bigger issue that we're seeing across our nation right now of a mental health crisis going across our country.
Generally speaking, we can decipher the persuasion of the perpetrator after these mass events based on if there's a call for addressing the mental health crisis in America, or if you hear people like Matt Walsh speak like this.
Almost all of the arrests that happen in a given year are from 5% of the population.
Might have to drop a dime on them niggas.
Because you take out the 70% who are never arrested, you take out the 25% who are arrested one time in their entire life, and you're left with 5% of the entire population that's actually doing all the work here.
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
In terms of committing crimes and getting arrested. If we were to just round them all up, the 5% who are constantly committing crimes, and we were just round them all up, put them in a cage, put them in jail, then the rest of us could live in peace.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that Matt Walsh is being very deliberate in first not naming the subset of Americans that he's speaking of, but also pointing not to numbers of people convicted of particular crimes, but of the percentages of people arrested for crimes. And it's a stat that him and his ilk point to over and over and over, which we're used to it now. But what you will notice is that there is a lack of empathy that is there when certain particular people commit other kinds of atrocities. When you hear Matt Walsh speak of his stats, there is zero talk of mental health here.
The way in which this has been talked about, especially from men, especially from Black men, is that he went through something really tough and he broke. We are looking at this story and we are like, I don't care what you went through. There's just no way you kill your wife in front of your child and you get empathy from me.
I want to make it clear in this video that the point of it is not to go tit for tat. Oh, something happened to Black women. Oh, well, what aboutism? Something also happened to Black men. That's not the point of this video. It's very unfortunate what happened here. But my question is, when exactly will we have the empathy and the conversation about Black men's mental health? When exactly is the time? Because we always know when it isn't the time.
You know, I get it. Yes, Black men do need more safe spaces to express themselves. They need to feel seen. But can we talk about this domestic violence? Can we talk about the fact that Black women are 3 times more likely than white women to be murdered? The person more likely to murder them is a Black man. 40% of Black women report being victims of some kind of physical abuse. The reason why domestic violence is so underreported by Black women is because we live with this responsibility for Black men of not wanting to call the police, of not wanting to send another Black man to jail. And it's coming at our own expense. And so seeing these glowing tributes about Justin Fairfax takes me back to that. This woman can't even be recognized as fully human because you all want to center his mental health struggles so very quickly.
Even though this video is 13 years old, it makes a very salient point. If there's a group of people that you feel that have a redeemable value, but they've gotten steered off the tracks, then you look for ways that you can explain bad behavior while still having empathy. And this is what it sounds like.
The quest to explain the Colorado mass shootings, more psychologists are starting to look at the roots of mental illness, particularly in those who are young. Elizabeth Bernstein, she writes our Bonds relationship column, and she has also been reporting on some of these issues for many years. Elizabeth, you've been exploring this. Now, let's just say up front, though, what we know and don't know about James Holmes, who is suspected of killing 12 people, wounding 58 others in Aurora, Colorado in the Batman shooting. We were looking at him in court earlier this week. We know very little. In fact, we know that we don't know that there's anything suspicious about yet, whether tests have been made about whether he is suffering from mental illness. The one thing we do know is that he mailed a notebook with drawings of a massacre to a University of Colorado psychiatrist. That's according to law enforcement officials. Now, in terms of the reporting you've been doing, what do we know about the onset of mental illness with young people?
Well, you're right. We don't know much about what made James Holmes do what he did, about his mental illness, if at all he has one, or his background. We do know this morning that his jailers are saying he's claiming amnesia. He doesn't know why he's in jail. But why do people do this? Well, the onset of mental illness, he's actually in the age range for it. It's in males, it's 15 to 25 is the peak age. In females, it goes a little later, 15 to 30. So we know that he's in that range, and people are looking very carefully, obviously, at it.
Notice again, this is a conversation that 2 white women are having about a man who was the perpetrator of a crime, and they're talking about mental illness. And contrast that against this conversation that's being told to Black men that were nowhere in the vicinity of these acts and are essentially getting lectured to in a way that is 180 degrees different from this conversation.
You're proud of yourself because you're not that man. You don't hit, you don't threaten, you don't control. And this week, while you were being proud of yourself, a man killed 8 of his own children in Shreveport. A woman 8 months pregnant had her remains found in the park in Southwest Houston. A vice mayor was found wrapped in garbage bags in her bedroom in Florida, and a man shot his wife in their basement while their kids were upstairs in Virginia. These men had fathers, brothers, friends, co-workers, men who saw something shifting and decided that it was not their place. Non-violence, my man, is the floor. It's not the ceiling. And if you are only defined by what you do not do, then you are not a protector. You are just a bystander who has never been tested. And our community needs more than men who don't cause harm. We need men who interrupt it.
Let's do a quick thought experiment for a moment. Imagine a news production like the Wall Street Journal here or Fox News. Instead of speaking about the mental health of this young man here, they were speaking to all of the white men watching their broadcast, giving them a lecture on how they weren't doing manhood properly, that it was their responsibility to find the cracks in his mental health and address them as good men, that them going to work or whatever they were doing on said day was not enough, that they needed to do more as men. And this is on the white men that were at work doing their regular schedule, instead of saying this was a mental health issue. If you put it that way, it seems ludicrous. It would never happen on Fox News. But for black men, it's a normal Tuesday. Some black guy does something, and instead of speaking about mental health, which we never, ever will get to speaking about for black men, it's why weren't the good black men there to do something? We're the ones who are suffering. We need more help, more aid. We need more people to care, and black men need to be better. And it's on repeat over and over and over, even for men that were nowhere close to what was going on, and men that have zero ability to control the behavior, the environment, what's going on, who's hanging out with whom, who's consuming what. We don't have any control over any of that. But we do always get the blame, and we never get the grace of this gentleman who did something that was heinous. He's getting 1,000 times more compassion than most of us could ever even dream of. And I'm not talking about the perpetrators. I'm talking about the regular old black men that were just living our regular old lives.
15% of American men say they have no close friends, and 50% say they have 3 or fewer friends outside of family members.
I literally don't got no friends. It's like you gotta go somewhere to make friends. I don't go no where.
What am I supposed to, like, cozy myself up to another man and be like, hey man, you want to be friends? Do you want to go play tag sometime?
Yes! Yes! That's what you're supposed to do. I mean, don't use that voice. It's kind of creepy. But that's what you're supposed to do. Put in the work. He probably don't have no friends either.
It's the belly for me.
In the black community, there's a soft underbelly that rarely gets spoken of in public or just period, but it's always there. It's omnipresent. And it's essentially that black men feel some shame or need to feel some shame for what happened to black people in America. And anytime we see something about black women, you hear it all the time. Black women need, black women are going through, black women are holding up the community, because in some inherent way, black men let black women down. It's rarely spoken about in a straightforward manner, but essentially whatever happens to black men is on the fault of black men, because real men are going to figure out a way. And if a black man falters because he snaps or something of that nature, then it's the duty of other black men to fix that man while they're still trying to be men in their own lives. And all of this sums up as black men have been subpar men for black women, which that's an opinion depending on who you ask. But when you listen to Leslie Jones speak to this audience, she's talking to white men in the way that she would speak to black men. Of course, for a liberal audience, it's funny, but it makes her sound out of touch when she's talking to anyone other than black people and liberals.
Now, maybe you're asking, Leslie, why do you care if men have friends? First of all, my name is Miss Jones. You don't know me. And it affects me as a woman because men who have trouble talking to other guys can't talk to women either. Half of young men haven't approached women ever. Talking to a woman is easy. I've seen y'all beat a game of Madden in 20 minutes. But you can't take 2 seconds and say hey to a woman? Women are way easier than video games. We have one button you need to figure out how to press.
You got kids?
I do.
How many?
4.
4.
I have 4 kids, but 1 is an adult and 3 are in the house.
How old?
The oldest is 22. The youngest is 4.
What kind of relationship with the baby daddy is?
There is one. There isn't any. Well, I was honestly gonna pop his balloon next. It's the belly for me.
If you are worried about someone, what you want to look for is a lot of change in behavior. You want to look if they're withdrawing from friends, from academics, from work, from anything they like, any hobby or sports interest they have, if their appearance is becoming disheveled, if they're, certainly if their thinking is becoming dysfunctional, if they're not quite coherent anymore. You want to look at all of that, and those are huge warning signs. Their sleep patterns, their eat patterns. If someone's really changing, you really want to take a look at it.
If you want to understand the dynamics of the black community, especially after hearing a video of 2 white women essentially trying to explain mental health to their audiences in trying to salvage their young boys, there is a level of empathy there that is noticeably absent when we have the same, well, we never have the conversations in the black community because one, well, black men are to be at fault for the experience of black people in the West, in America, and 2, black men are expendable. And so if a black man is not providing something, is not bringing something to the table, if he's not pleasing someone, if he's not making a large amount of money to transfer funds to someone else, then essentially what he's going through doesn't matter unless he's continuing to provide funds. And once he's not providing those funds, he's disposable. So why would you even have the conversation that the 2 women on the Wall Street Journal panel are having? They see those men as redeemable. But if you don't see a black man who is down on his luck or going through some difficulties as redeemable, then all you do is look at the men that are producing, the men that are faring well, and say, hey, fix him. We need some more resources. We need him to be productive. Get on your job and continue to be productive, but also fix him.
Oh God! Why is this spray?
It's in my car. I thought. Where at? What car?
The red one.
Red car? Okay, step over there.
She's
Send in the medic.
Why is this
It's
in my car.
Where at? What car?
The red one.
Red car? Okay, step over there.
Yeah,
anything on the air?
Ma'am. No, I don't care. See my mom.
Go over there with your mom.
632.
Go inside. I got one down out in front. The mom's out here with me. I got several people inside the apartment.
Okay. Here, I got a pair of hundred doors. Okay. Yep. No medical attention. You don't need it. You might have a pocket knife on you. Right here?
Yeah. I don't know where.
Got it. Anything else on you?
No.
Okay. All right. Have a seat. Watch your head down there. Watch your head. Watch your head. Okay. Sit down. She got oil on her. You got hot oil?
No.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put this in your car.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you get me out? Can you get me out of here? I need to throw up.
Okay. 1 second.
Please. Please, God. Please, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
When you're starting to see black men in America say,
let's go to Africa.
What's really happening is that someone like this particular woman who apparently took out her son will get the empathy from the people around her of maybe she's going through some mental health issues. But that conversation is never going to come for black men. That day is never going to come. What are you going through? How difficult is your life? What can we do to make your life better? What do you need? How are you feeling well today? What kind of mental health resources do we need to bring to the black community so that black men can have their safe space, as Jamel Hill was speaking about? We're never going to have that conversation. It's never coming. We're only going to have to deal with the world that's around us. And if you see black men say, I don't want any part of it, I'm leaving, it's because it's a no-win situation. If you're the representation of that soft, dark underbelly that you guys failed as men and thus you don't deserve any resources except you're supposed to do what's necessary so we can live our best life, that essentially means I need to sacrifice myself because my predecessors messed up and I need to make up for it. And if you're going through mental health, figure it out because it's not my job to do it. And then you look across at Fox News when you have these mass events and they're openly discussing mental health illness as a social problem. Only black men will never get the benefit of the doubt of anyone caring about our mental health. When you see black men leaving, that's exactly why. We're never going to get seen as anything other than workhorses who are supposed to find a way to work no matter what we're going through because no one cares anyways. Especially when we look over at Fox News and they're pouring empathy into their broken men. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.